Good morning, everyone. My name is Andy. This is my brother Mish, and this is episode 12 of the Major Vibes Show. We are back after a couple of weeks, and we are very excited to be here today with you.
Oh, I am. I
Yeah,
sure am.
are you?
It feels like it's been 12 weeks.
It does feel
Why
like
is that?
We've been busy. Not really, but
You know, the way I see it,
I'm drinking coffee from the mothership, Starbucks. It's not my normal place. I do drink local, but it just wasn't on the way to this place. So
I like that, the mothership, because I always view, like, in my absurd satire world, like in the future, in a shitty future, people will go to the gas station to get fueled up,
Yeah.
and they put like gasoline in their drinks as the same as their car. Like the
Yeah.
coffee shop is a gas station
Yep.
on Earth 2137.
Yeah. So, I don't even like the Starbucks cold brew. One of the worst cold brews. It has this distinct weird
Chemical taste.
taste that I just don't like. But hey, it does the trick, right? It's
Yeah.
Friday morning. Normally
just-
we do this in the afternoon.
It's better in the morning.
But I messaged you yesterday. We were supposed to do it yesterday and like 2 days before. But I was like, you know what? Let's do it Friday. Let's do Friday morning, get it out of the way, and go about our day in
Yeah.
the best way.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. So here we are. Why don't we start, brother? You can start with let's say your vibe of the day.
Okay, my vibe of the day today is a 92.
Ooh, you've been on a hot streak.
So since we last spoke, we have integrated the streaks, the purple streaks,
Yes.
and it seems to have lit a fire under my behind because I'm on a 20-day purple streak right now.
That's big.
Like that's
That's a big time. 20 days.
so 20 days is pretty good. I went through in great detail on the Pear app what my routine is, but it's really nothing special. Light dinners, light, healthy-ish snacking, usually before 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in bed at 9 o'clock. I'm in bed. We're watching TV in bed. But sleep mask, cold room, the basics. But just, I think the hyper consistency
I think that's what it is.
has been it, because I've had no like huge pizza binges. I've had no huge donut binges. I've had no huge
Well, you've just been human.
garden
Yeah.
binges.
Gardening. That's what they call it on the internet.
Is that what they call it? Garden?
Yeah, because they don't like to say the
trace.
the actual word. And I saw it because I re-downloaded TikTok for the first time in like months. And I don't know why I did it, but I was just browsing through, and they kept talking about gardening. Someone was like, "I just stopped gardening, and my life got better." So I was like, "Gardening," and then it made sense.
Yeah. So a little bit of gardening.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing crazy. And yeah, just avoiding the binges. Like what I was always doing with the binges before is like, let's say I'd binge hard, I'd like fast hard for 3-4 days and I'd try to like clear it out, but then it just created like a slingshot effect. So I'd be like this. And I think the key to vibes is consistency. The internal body loves consistency. So that's what I've been giving it. I'm on 20 days now. I'm into it. And let's see how far we can keep this going.
Yeah, it's
And
good stuff.
break down 8:25 sleep, 4 hours restorative, 86 heart score.
Mm-hmm.
So everything's in line. My HRV is lower than it has been. I ate a little later last night and a little more.
Okay,
I had leg day yesterday. I was starving.
nice.
So yesterday my HRV was 94. Today was 81. So that's a pretty big difference.
Mhm.
But all in all, very happy with it.
Very cool, man.
How about you, brother?
My score today is an 88. I'm back in the purples. I haven't been in the purples in months, but this week I think I'm at like 4 days in the purple or something. You're looking at the stuff. So
5.
5 days in the purple, yeah. So I was struggling to be above my averages for a few months, but I was trying to make changes to my routines, doing stuff, also not doing stuff. So yeah, I think that the biggest thing for me, the biggest difference, I'm back to having consistent bedtimes. For a few months, and I've had consistent bedtimes for like the last 2 years, I'd say. But I'd say for the last few months, since a little before the holidays, instead of going to bed around like 9, 9:30, 10, I was going to bed at like 11:30, 12, 1, and waking up at all different times. Sometimes at 6, sometimes at 7, 7:30, whatever it is. So it was always fluctuating. And I noticed in the last little while, it's been more around 9 o'clock, at least that I'll go to bed. I'll read a little bit. I'll still scroll a little bit on my phone,
Sure.
say what's up because I'm just bored. But I've also, I mean, I'm not encouraging people to watch TV in bed or anything like that. But I did notice that if I'm not on my phone in bed, but I put on like a movie or something, not like flipping YouTube, not constantly changing something. If I
Yeah.
just put a movie or like an hour episode of something, I always end up falling asleep and I always end up sleeping better than when I'm constantly on a scroll or like browsing through YouTube or browsing through Netflix. So oftentimes, if I know that I'm going to go to bed and I want to put on something, I won't go to bed, turn on my TV, and then find it. I'm going to find it when I'm on the couch. I'm going to
Okay.
think about what I'm going to watch so that when I go to bed, I turn it on, I do it, and then,
Set it and forget it.
yeah. So like consistent bedtime, not too much scrolling and doing a million different things. And that's it. And reading too before bed, I've been doing.
That's great. I think you're absolutely right. You're onto something. Like if you were to put on a scale like the worst kind of viewing to do and the best, I would say like long form like movie or TV show drama
Mhm.
is like the easiest on the system. Then like 15-20 minute YouTube videos or sitcoms, they spike you up a little more. They
Yeah.
keep you on edge because right there,
Mhm.
they're made to keep you.
Yeah, and I like to listen to like
Attached?
podcasts or commentary on stuff. But I if I do that when going to bed, I get too into it, and instead of it putting me to sleep, it wakes me up because I want to keep listening. And that's like back in the day, like last year, the year before that. Oftentimes, I'd put like a Bible podcast of some sort, religious history, something like that. It would knock me right out.
Nice.
Now I put that on, I'm up. I'm like going for it.
So now you need to find something.
Yeah, like it pumps me up way too much. I'm like, these are the best stories ever. So I kind of just, yeah. So in the last few months, I've been having terrible scores. So hopefully, this is the start of something good.
Well, hopefully that sleep consistency is.
Yeah, I think this the sleep consistency, also not eating. Not that I was eating shit food, but not eating big amounts of food closer to my bedtime. So I quit fasting. I've been intermittent fasting for like 10 years or something crazy.
Yeah.
So lately I've stopped that. I've been eating more breakfast. So having some eggs in the morning, ground beef, and then I'll have a snack. I'll have like a handful or two of cashews or something. So I'm constantly eating small little things throughout the day.
Yeah.
So I'm not having like a 2,500 calorie dinner that takes 12 hours for my body to digest.
Yeah.
So I'm having more snacks, smaller dinners. So that's probably helping too.
Definitely. That's
Because the other day,
I'm doing the same thing.
Because last week after golf, we finished golfing at like 6:30 something. I got home, took a shower, and then it was like 8 o'clock by the time I was like ready to eat. And I haven't eaten dinner at 8 o'clock in like years. And I was starving. I hadn't eaten that whole day. So I had 2 double burgers from Jack in the Box and 5 big chicken strips.
Oh, so good.
And I was exhausted. So I ate that at like 8.
And then you passed out?
And then I went to bed at 8:30, like in my bed.
What was your vibe score?
That day it was like 30 or 40 or something. Like
Okay, so
it was
it
in
made
the red.
sense.
It was horrible.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and also because my body's just not used to that.
And you're kind of still doing the fasting, but backwards. So we both are. If you finish eating at 6 or 7, but then you're only eating again at 7 or 8 or 9,
Mhm.
that's like 14, 15
it's
hours.
good. So I do the fasting when I'm sleeping. Yeah, because there were times where I was doing like 24-hour fast just because I could. Like,
And your body was used to it. So
yeah, though the only thing I'm noticing now is I'm always at the damn grocery store. Like before, I didn't have snacks. I didn't need snacks. I would just like go get dinner. So like I'd go buy a steak and a potato and I'd eat that and cook it and that's it. But now I need like some chumps, some peanuts, some fruits. Like, so now I'm constantly buying groceries, which I don't enjoy.
yeah, no, I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you. But how do you feel overall eating more consistently throughout the day versus just at night? Do you feel more balanced?
I think so. I don't really know the difference during the day because I haven't analyzed it, but it's definitely better eating a smaller meal for dinner rather than a huge meal.
Yeah. I found that it's turned off my desire to binge by like 90%. Because I was fasting all day, right? Every day. And then at night, I'd eat my dinner. I'd eat all my protein, like 150, 160 grams in like one sitting. And then I was still starving. So I was like eating all kinds of crap.
Okay.
So like 2,000, 2,500 calories like right at night, right before bed.
Yeah.
Sleep like shit, wake up irritable. Then I'm kind of hung. So it wasn't good. So now that I'm eating my protein, I'm having a little in the morning, a little at lunch, and then a little at dinner. I'm hitting my protein easier. I'm putting less strain on my body and I'm sleeping better. And I feel less annoyed.
Okay.
Feel less annoyed. Because this could be like a clip on fasting because we've done it
Mhm.
and we were strict about it. But I feel like that's the fasting kept me in the binge mode.
Okay. I used to fast. One, it was good for like mental clarity and stuff at the time, but also because I was a pig. I wasn't a pig, but I was
It was a good way to
I was
like,
definitely
lose weight.
heavier, way heavier
A pig.
in the earlier years. I was like 50 pounds heavier almost, maybe more. So
It was a bad look.
but I'm like 135 now or 140 or something like that. I don't know. I don't have a scale, but I check every now. We'll weigh myself after.
Yeah,
here.
well, you look cool.
But I think I'm in the 130s or low 140s. But at one point I was 208 was my peak.
What was that? 2014?
2014, yeah, 208.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm barely 5'7". On a good day with some decent shoes, 5'7", maybe 5'8". But nah, that's not a look. That's
no,
not a good look. I definitely didn't feel good. Like I remember like just walking around, I was like feeling it was like a workout just to like go from one place to another.
Could you feel
Oh yeah.
how like inflamed you were? Even
Oh,
though you
man.
didn't know the language back then?
Yeah. I knew. I woke up. I came home from a trip one day and I was like, no, man, I need to stop everything. So I literally ate cucumbers for like 2 months straight. I had nothing but cucumbers and the occasional like chicken breast.
Wow. But yeah, you lost your weight for sure.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it was brutal. Like I was still holding on to like I was still decently in shape,
Mhm.
but
You were always in decent shape.
I never surpassed the 25-pound from
No.
baseline.
One day I'm gonna, not on this pod, but another day, I'm gonna pull up some old photos and we're gonna analyze photos of ourselves and what we were doing. I think that would be a hilarious podcast, actually.
That would be hilarious.
Pull up some of our most disgraceful old photos and and just compare what our life was back then versus what our life is today. It was very different.
Yeah, man. We used to go for dinner at 9:00.
Yeah, going to dinner earlier than that was for losers.
Yeah, we'd pre-drink before dinner.
If anyone ever asks me to go for dinner, even at 7:30 now, I'm like, 7:30? We better be paying the bill at 7:30, man. I want to be home.
No. I don't want to do that.
That's just getting older.
Yeah, but I this routine I feel like it makes me a better, nicer person.
It does. And
Makes me
honestly,
more
I just,
focused.
my whole goal is like, it's not a specific weight. It's not to look a specific way. It's like, I just want to feel as good as I can.
Yeah.
And the better life you live, the more chemically balanced your whole body is. Everything in your body is. And the more chemically balanced you are, the less depressed, the less anxious, the happier
Yeah,
you
the
are.
less ups and
Like,
downs.
what you put into your body and the people you see literally affects the way you feel. And anyone who argues that has no idea.
Yeah, or you're just so numb
You're so numb.
that you can't feel it. You can't feel it. Your ego's driving the car.
Yeah, like back in the day when people used to challenge my very big ego, I wouldn't listen to them, even if they were right. Like, no,
It's like
you're dumb. I know what I'm doing. Who are you?
Yeah,
And that's how, when I'm trying to talk to people, but I don't really tell people what to do because I'm not that guy. But if they ask me, I will go and I'll tell them what I really think. But
I think that's something we've learned over the years is
unsolicited advice.
unsolicited advice is not good advice.
No, come and ask me, no problem. Yeah, but I'm not about to tell you what to do. I'll just live my life, and if you like what I'm doing, just copy me.
Yeah, and we're getting older, we're getting a little more mature, and we're able to see that like we were degenerates, not because we really chose to be. Yes, a little.
Well, we like to have a good time.
We definitely like to have a good time, but it's like that was our path.
Yeah,
we had to go on that path. That was like, it's almost like it was preordained. We were meant to go on that path, perhaps to set us up for doing something like this.
Yeah, totally.
So we had to go pretty hard in that direction, and everyone's on their journey.
Yeah, exactly.
So you do what you got to do out there.
Totally. All right, why don't we go through the top 3 vibers of the week? So the last 7 days, we're going to start with third place. All right?
Yeah.
Third place with an average score of 91 is my good friend, Brandon Harar. First of all, it's great to have Brandon on pair. I know he was hesitant at first, because he wasn't sure if his scores were going to be good and everything. And I was like, dude, man, like you live a pretty good life, balanced life, good family, the whole bit. So don't be nervous, don't be scared. So he got himself an Oura ring, and look at that, he's pumping out some awesome scores. So
Yeah.
and he literally had a kid like 3 weeks ago. So
He's really doing amazing.
yeah, Brand, you're doing good stuff, man.
His chart is way more purple in the week since he started Pear than before.
I love that is a thing.
Yeah.
That people are getting on Pear. They're learning a little bit about what others are doing, what gets them better scores, and then it just inceptions people to just
want to do better, because no one
want to do better. The better scores you get, literally, the better you feel in life. The better you feel in life, the better you are to everyone around you and to yourself.
It's easier to stay on your goals, whatever those may be. It's easier for you to be nice.
Yeah.
You know?
So second place with a 93, we've got Scotty Korstein. Yeah, everybody knows Scotty. Scotty's been the top viber for a long time.
He's the big dog.
But unfortunately, Scotty has been dethroned by the new king thanks to this 20-day purple streak. And that new one is Brother Mish.
There we go.
You've been absolutely crushing it with a 94 average. That's crazy.
I know. That's sick.
But you know, the thing is, and that's really good. And we already spoke about your whole thing in the first bit. So you've been crushing it. But what I just noticed and realized right now is that I don't think I've seen Bran, Scott, or you get a 100 score. You've got consistently the highest stuff, but I realized I haven't seen a 100. It's not easy to get a 100. Some of our users do get the 100 score. And I know some are striving to get it, and they're
Scotty
trying.
is definitely trying to get 100.
I don't think Scotty's ever going to hit it. I just don't see it happening, Scott.
Yeah. Well, the truth is, on this V1 vibe score algorithm that we have, the consistency of Scotty is actually hurting his ability to get 100. So the people who are getting 100 right now are very volatile.
Mm-hmm.
Like Charlotte, for example.
Yeah.
Because of her work.
Yeah,
she either has some great days or some horrible days.
I was looking at her chart. She has almost no blue days. It's either in the red,
all or nothing,
high purple, or pink.
Yeah. And in terms of how that must feel to be so up and down, it's probably leading to, like, the inconsistency is probably affecting things because you're not as balanced, like visibly not as balanced.
Yeah.
It's either high or low.
It would be great for her to chime in on that. Maybe I'll ask her to write something that we can read and post.
Because I know when mine are up and down, I don't feel as good. Even if I'm getting 90s on the days, but like I had some really shit days right before, I don't feel as good.
It's hard for me to even say because I think for 3 months I was just blue. So I was never horrible and I was never great. I was just riding that blue wave.
But you were consistent. So
I was consistent.
You didn't feel horrible.
No, I didn't.
Right.
I didn't feel horrible. But yeah, so that's, I don't know.
So back on the Scotty not getting 100, the new vibe score algorithm.
Yeah, so the vibe score has an algorithm. We're not going to tell you what the algorithm is, but every wearable thing has their own algorithm and how they display their scores. And we've been tweaking ours, watching what people are doing, what their kind of baselines are, what their averages are,
what their devices are. Some devices have limitations.
Yeah, so you're really in the science of that. I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
so.
Should we do that now?
I mean, we can talk about it now, quick, but
because it's part of the list.
Yeah, okay, here. Before we get into that, why don't we talk about? We went to our first conference, show, whatever you want to call it. So we had gone to many conventions, conferences over the years with our last business. So we were really good at that, going in, schmoozing, talking, doing the whole thing, sales pitch, whatever. But this was first of all, we hadn't done it in like 5 or 6 years since we had sold our business. And then now we're doing it in a totally different.
I feel like it's a more difficult way now.
It is.
Back then, everyone knew who we were.
Well, yeah, we walk in like rock stars. We already had our customers. So, and the customers we didn't have knew us. It was just a money thing, right?
Yeah.
Did it work? Did it not work? So schmoozing and doing the whole thing. But this was a whole new industry for us.
Yeah, we went in raw.
The wellness, health industry, whatever it was. I hadn't done that much research on this particular show. So we went in a little blind, didn't really do a big plan or anything. But yeah, why don't you talk about it?
Well, it was good to get in there. It was weird. It was definitely out of our comfort zone.
Totally, yeah.
Because in my head, I'm always like, well, let's build up some users before we make some connections so we can show them what we've done. Whether that's true or whether that's just fear disguised as IQ, we'll never really know.
Yeah, you didn't really want to go to the show. I really wanted to go to the show. Neither of us were right or wrong. I think it was a good.
I think doing something new is always right.
Yeah, we got to go back to LA where I used to hang for a long time, which
It was very fun to go back to LA.
it was nice to go back. See
was-
some old. Well, I didn't really see many people, but
It was nice to be in the conference because it's like you really have to step up your comfort zone game.
yeah, because back in the day we knew everyone, so we'd go to those shows and it was
Just
like
drink
it
with
was
them.
hugs. It was a good time. You people are talking. You just walk in and do your thing, and you all talk together. This time is like, hi, I'm Andy. Nice to meet you. So it was just a different thing.
Yeah. Hi, I see you're wearing a Whoop. I see you're wearing a Garmin.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was our like
Yeah. So
entry
this one was called the Connected
Health and Wellness Summit.
Summit, Connected something. Yeah, but
Was- yeah.
what I noticed was it was more like health, not health. It was more like medical.
Not necessarily medical. It was more of a networking event than a trade show.
Yeah.
And it was more of the business of health and wellness
Mm-hmm.
rather than the health and rather than the lifestyle.
It was more medical and health rather than wellness, which is more of our thing. Like, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like we're not doctors. We're not going into the deep dives of your body. We're just doing this stuff.
Yeah, we're doing something that's a little more fun, a little more social, that's built on these kinds of devices. But yeah, it was weird to see how we fit in there.
Yeah, but regardless,
Or
it
how
was
we
cool
didn't.
seeing how most of those people had a device.
Yeah.
Some people had like 3 or 4 devices.
Oh, that one guy,
that
with
one
the
guy.
microbiome company.
Yeah, so he had a lot of devices. Some nice people all around. It was good to see like the Whoop lady, the Garmin people, like the Oura people were there. We didn't see them though. I didn't talk to them. But yeah, it was just cool to like get in there and see that world. And for me, it was just, I wasn't going in there expecting to make crazy connections or to get investment or any of that stuff. It was more just to like get a feel for what these shows are and what we kind of need for the next one.
Exactly. It was a necessary first step.
Yeah.
It was, I think it was a success because we did it. We went and we
Mhm.
saw what it was and we saw how we can make it better next time we go.
Yeah.
It was also cool to see because we met with a few VCs and we also pitched Pear to like a bunch of just people who weren't investors.
Yeah, just
like people
telling
who
them
had
about it.
companies. And some of the VCs looked at us like we were from Mars. Like they couldn't really wrap their head around it.
Yeah.
One of the VCs was starting to see that, okay, maybe this is one of those. you
Yeah, he
know?
was a big Strava user.
Yeah.
So he kind of understood it.
Yeah, he kind of understood it. And when he started to see that like doing things socially like helps and improves, and we're doing it with like overnight stuff and vibes and all that. At first he didn't quite get it. He's like, there's people who are doing this. Like there's people who are like using your app. We're like, yeah. We're like showing him
Yeah.
all this stuff. And as it started to go, he's like, well, Airbnb started as couch surfing and Facebook started as seeing the hot girl in your class. So he was kind of connecting it to like,
Yeah.
that's how I truly feel about Pear. It's going to be big or it's going to be nothing.
Yeah.
It's all or nothing.
Yeah. No, I have all the faith that it's going to be.
But the people who were talking about like the vibe score and this, and
No, they loved it.
they were like, yo, this is amazing.
Mhm.
And I guess it's a good segue into the head of brand at Whoop. You sniped her.
Yeah, I did Sniper. We watched them do a little panel, and anyway, I love the Whoop, and I do like that they have a lot of athletes, professional athletes. LeBron James for basketball, a bunch of golfers. I know Whoop posted something with Lando Norris in Formula One today.
Oh, cool.
So that's all cool stuff, and they often show the athletes' scores or their heart rate or all the different things, like when they're in that playoff game or doing that in the last game of the golf, to see if they were going to win or not. And I was like, so I went up to her and I told her how much I love Whoop and the whole thing. I showed her my device, and I was like, I have a couple questions. I was like, Cristiano Ronaldo, you have like the biggest and most popular athlete in the world. I was like, why can't I go see his profile and go see his individual stats and all that? And she started laughing. She's like, honestly, everyone wants to see that. She's just like, these athletes, they're not always perfect. And sometimes during game day, they don't have a really good score, and they don't want people to start pinpointing and saying, oh, he has a red day, he did crap, or, they just
using it for gambling odds and stuff like that.
Exactly. So she was like, that's why we always post after the fact. And we literally message them, like we'll send them a text, hey, can we post this? And they're like, yeah, you can, and I'll repost it. But in that, I said, well, because of how much I loved your product, but wanted so much more from it, I created my product. And I showed her Pair, and I showed her the app and everything. And I was like, look, like we have profiles and we have all the different devices. So it's not only Whoop, because that's what we were missing, was like we loved having our friends on the Whoop groups, but we have people with Oura Rings, with Apple Watches, with all these different devices. So I was going through it and I showed her, I was like, I wake up in the morning and first thing I do is check on my mom. How's my mom doing? How are her metrics? And the lady, the head of brand at Whoop was, or the whatever, she's like, honestly, my mom can't use the Whoop app because it's too busy for her. It's too complicated. She's like, she would love and be able to use yours. And she was asking a bunch of questions. She was like going through our feed, seeing how people are asking each other for help and tips and different things. And so she really liked it. And I asked her, I was like, how do you see this? Do you see this as a competitor or as a
value add?
A value add or a layer on top? She's like, no, like this is great. She's like, the more people that are on this, the more they're going to want Whoops perhaps. So, and I said, yeah, maybe one day we can do a partnership, after we're launched and officially official.
That's great. That was great feedback. And I could see her excitement when you were talking to her.
I couldn't see. I was talking to her,
yeah,
but
no,
you were.
The body language was great. And yeah, Pair is no way a competitor. If anything, it adds lifetime value to the users.
Well, how many people, I told her, I was like, out of all these people, a bunch of them got a Whoop just because of us.
Yeah.
I'm like, we have any device that we can use on this. We encourage the Whoop because it's what we like the most, And a lot of people who are, especially our fitness people, they're not going to, if you're at the gym every day,
Oura's not for you.
An Oura Ring is not for you. So,
yeah. And the more people come into sleep tracking, it raises the waters for everybody.
Exactly.
So the Garmin people said the same thing. They said the same thing as the Whoop, where the more applications are built on top of their platforms, the happier they are, because it means more engagement for their product.
Yep.
So it's like, is it bad for iPhone if there's new apps on the iPhone?
Exactly. Everybody wins.
Everybody wins. So that was positive. One super cool thing, the first thing we saw when we walked into that room, because you could get some booths, was this this biocharger machine.
That was sick.
So this machine looked like the thing on the back of the DeLorean. It looked like the flux
Nobody
capacitor.
knows what that means.
Someone's going to know what the flux capacitor is. It looks like a retro future machine.
Yeah.
Like a Tesla thing.
It almost looked like an old school, like a giant Tesla coil, but small.
Yeah, with like sparks flying and stuff.
Yeah, it was like the size of this table.
Yeah. And what it is you sit next to it for like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And what it does is it mimics the natural electricity of nature that we're missing out on by living these sedentary indoor lives that we live. So if we were cave people, we would be getting like nature's electricity. So we're currently in our lifestyle missing 93% of that.
Yeah.
So the whole idea of this crazy machine is you sit around it
and it literally like charges you and gives you all the good stuff.
It increases your deep sleep, your REM sleep. It increases your HRV and lowers your resting heart rate.
Yeah, and like I thought it would be more expensive. What did he say? It was $17,000?
Yeah.
Like that's expensive, yes. But if it promises to do what it does, it would be insane for people not to buy it. Like that's something you should be able to buy and pay monthly for or like lease, because like most people don't have $17,000 to just spend.
It should be like an AC unit.
Like right now it's for rich biohacker people only.
Exactly.
Right? But like, let's say we get an office for Pair.
We'll have one.
Immediately I'm buying one. Like that. And it's something like we could do as like a team, everyone sit down by the thing.
We can do it on the podcast.
It could be right here.
However, none of our phones, we were trying to show people Pair while we were next to it, and our phones were broken.
Yeah, no electronics work next to it. Everything gets all messed up.
And they proved the electricity. They gave us this like light bulb thing.
Oh yeah.
and you just stand next to it and the light bulb in your hand lights up. So
Yeah.
we're like conducting this electricity. It
yeah,
was
that was
super cool.
That was cool. I want one.
And it really made me think of like our original idea before Pair was the conscious homes,
Yeah.
because we knew like what we're seeing now and what we're trying to teach people on Pair or show them is that your nighttime routine dictates your sleep, but that dictates how you feel in the day, which is more important than your sleep. And we were thinking like, because of our previous lifestyles, the home was the place where we destroyed our recovery. Like
Always.
home was not the place where we recharged. It's the place where we decharged.
Yeah, you go
And-
home, you eat bad food, you go to bed late, you're drinking, you're smoking.
You're doing whatever, you're partying. No one can see you. No one can judge you. It's like you're at peace. It's nice, but it's like being on drugs every night.
Mhm.
You're happy to go home because you're going to get that dose, right?
Yeah.
And in the conscious homes, like let's say our conscious community that we build one day, every house would have this just as much as it would have an AC unit in it,
It would be just as important.
right? It's cheaper than the AC.
Yeah. Like when I was telling mom about it, and she's like, oh, that's expensive. And I was like, but like, you're like a 60-plus-year-old woman, especially for those that are getting older.
For bone density and all that
Like,
stuff.
that's almost nothing. Like,
Like how much did the kitchen island cost?
exactly.
And
You
what-
know, you do a big renovation on your house or you get a loan to do something or whatever. It's like, no, like, why don't you don't need a new car. You need a longer life
Yeah, and a better
and a better quality of life.
while
So
you're
like,
here.
why would you not invest in that?
Yeah, because the money we spend on stuff is all like psychological on how you perceive what that cost is.
Mhm.
So like 17,000 is a lot of money,
Yeah.
especially in one shot. Like an 8-sleep mattress, $3,000. It's a lot of money. But if you compare what you're spending on other things consistently, like we don't want to charge anyone $10 a month to use Pair, right? Because we want to make it free. People have enough charge, but you're spending $10 a day on coffee.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it adds up to like thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So it's dollars are perspective.
Actually, you just made me want to ask you this. So you've been using an 8-sleep for about 2 years?
Yeah.
Let's say. Back in the day, we'd always be out of town. We were out of town more than we were in town. We were working, we were traveling the world, we were doing the whole thing, living in hotels pretty much. I always loved it, love hotels. But the big difference this time around was we went to a hotel. It was a nice hotel, comfortable bed and the whole thing, but you didn't have your 8-sleep. So it was one of the first times where you were gone for an extended period of time and you didn't have your 8-sleep mattress and you were in a normal bed. I've always been in a normal bed, so it wasn't really different for me. It was actually better because the hotel room got nice and cold versus my room doesn't get that cold at home. So what was the difference for you? Because I know you weren't into it.
Restless sleep.
Yeah?
I was so hot at night. No matter how cold the room got, the bed was hot. Like, you know that feeling with the pillow, you always got to turn it and move it? That's how the mattress felt for me.
Okay.
And I didn't have Yuli. And
Yeah.
I didn't have like a bunch of things. But it was not comfortable experience. It was not.
Yeah, and that's why like Formula One drivers, they have 24 different races all over different parts of the world. A lot of them, they have the hotels or the teams supply their 8-mattress sleep in their hotel room because they cannot sleep or recover greatly without it. Or they probably can, but they're not going to get the best.
Once you get used to it, it's like my bed, I put it to so cold, and like I'm freezing, like I'm wearing sweatpants because it's so cold. But that it's like that feeling of sleeping in an igloo.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how I sleep.
Never did it, but
Well, you did it. Didn't you do it? Outdoor ed back in the day?
no, I got kicked out. I left. We were supposed in grade 9. We went out like all the way into the wilderness, and it was like -20 outside, and we were young, and we had to build these quincies. It's like a type of igloo, same thing, and you had to sleep in it overnight. So we built ours, but around midnight when everyone went to sleep, I went, and me and Brandon, we left. I think Brandon was there. We left. We went back to like the cabin that had heating and a fireplace. I was like, I'm not going to sit outside like a jerk.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it's that feeling, and you sleep really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been setting it colder, and my resting heart rate is going lower at night. Like,
Well, they say the best sleep you can get is the colder room you're in.
so 43 resting heart rate. That's got to be like my lowest.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Because normally around 48, 49. But every house should have, or every conscious home, right, should have an 8-sleep mattress.
Yeah.
Should have a biocharger. I can't wait to get one.
We're going to talk more about conscious home another time, but that is the thing we wanted to do before we created Pair, but that required such a heavy investment that it's just impossible right now. So we're still going to try it. I think the next time I buy a home or build a home, it's going to be a fully conscious home, not a smart home that my phone can like do the lights and the air conditioning, but like something where everything in the house like makes you feel better and optimal.
It's like what we're trying to build with the app. Like we can give you guys 1,000 notifications a day. We can gamify the shit out of it so that you can be addicted to Pair. But every decision we make about what we add to Pair is, does it make the user's life better in a healthy way? And is it kind of fun? And that's the idea here. We're not trying to bombard the users with anything. And so why did I go on to this?
I don't know.
We were talking about conscious homes.
Yeah.
What was it?
I don't know. It was conscious homes. You were making a point, but
yeah, anyway, I was making a point.
Whatever it is, conscious homes are going to be a thing, and we'll talk more in detail about that on a different pod because it'd be fun to get people's comments and thoughts on the conscious home and if it's something they would want. Let's say obviously that something like that would start off like you have to, it's expensive, so it'll be people willing to
for people who are buying houses, right?
Yeah, building houses and spending the money to put all that wellness stuff in there. But if you had an unlimited bank account, is that something you would like?
Oh, that was my point. Smart home. A smart home is actually a dumb home because it connects all the electronics in a way where you're a kid in the candy store. Alexa, give me Skittles.
Yeah,
like it's ridiculous. But a true conscious home is a house that actually like measurably improves your health.
Like when I wake up in the morning in my conscious home, what I would like is via whatever wearable I'm going to have at that time, I wake up and by the time I get to the kitchen in the morning, the home has the home or the fridge or the cabinet has already given me all of the supplements that I need based off of how my sleep was or how my heart is or how all that stuff
or how
is.
your pee was.
Or how my morning pee was. Like, I don't have to do anything. I just go there and it's like, hey, Andy, take these. You're going to feel great. Or like, let's say you had less sleep or you're hungover even or whatever.
It's coming.
It's coming. And nobody's doing it right now, but it's coming. So
and that would be,
if anyone has a lot of money and wants to partner up with us in this, let me know because it's a project I would so love to do.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And it would, if everyone's home, if everyone left their house better than when they arrived to it, I'm telling you, we live in Atlantis.
Yeah, the world would be a
we
great
live in
place.
Agartha.
Why don't we talk about Pair updates?
Sweet.
So I'll start. We spoke about the algorithm a little bit, but we brought on like 20 new users last week, which is like the first
big batch.
The first time we brought like a bigger batch of people. Normally it's like 2 or 3 users, see how they're using it. But this time it's like, yo, let's bring in more users, more people we know, some people we don't know. And let's see how people are using it, if they're liking it. And
if everything breaks.
Yeah, and the whole thing. And so far, that's been pretty good. Like,
it's been an amazing feeling to just see like all those people added, like 50% more people.
Yeah, and so like the leaderboard is getting bigger. And what I'm really liking is that we know most of the people on there personally, but most of the people on there don't know each other personally, but they're still hyping each other up. They're still commenting on their scores. They're still giving each other advice. People in the feed are asking, hey, how do you raise your HRV? Or how do I get more REM sleep? Or what, and then the community is responding. And that's something I love because I think it's so cool. One of the reasons we created this platform for many reasons. One of the reasons I did is because I was trying to find more people in this space, more like-minded people. So it's been cool to see that. And also, the more people are using it, especially people who are newer into the wellness thing, they're coming on, they're learning, and they're improving. And as their scores are getting better, they literally feel better. So
yeah, there's no denying
being
that.
on the platform for the majority of these people, it's a benefit. Like, it's a good thing. So it's literally getting you healthier, getting you sharper, getting you better, and building a nice little community.
Yeah, if you're coming in and you're seeing your vibes low, then you go in the feed and you can see like the questions that were asked, or you can ask questions yourself and figure out, okay, what am I doing wrong here?
Mm-hmm.
And the whole conversation is about like, sleep consistency and like what your pre-bed routine and all these things that it's not just for getting a high vibe score. It's for improving your vibe in your day, right? That's what it is.
It's for your for your vibe score, for your mental, for everything.
Totally. And people are unaware. Like Sunny Patel was saying, he's like, oh man, my heart score is down today, but I watched a crazy horror movie last night that was like super scary. And it's like, yeah, that's if you're watching a horror movie late at night, the vibe score will tell you.
Sunny's a doctor, bro. You should know this already. You should be teaching us,
Yeah, but don't get me started.
No, I know.
Doctors are great and they save people, but they're not their specialty is not preventative. It's you go in and you got a hole in your head.
Yeah.
Call Sunny.
Exactly. Yeah. So new users, new vibe algorithm.
So the
that's
vibe
coming.
algo, I'll talk about it a little.
Mm-hmm.
It's still going to be pretty close. Like the vibe score is going to be close for a lot of people. Like for me, it's not going to really change much. But what we started to see as we brought Apple in and different devices and people like my mom who have lower sleep averages, we had to adjust it and adapt it so that we're rewarding people on consistency.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, we're fixing the deficiencies with like Apple, for example, or different devices so that we can balance them out. Because a lot of people with Apple Watch, they can't get over 50 minutes of deep sleep.
Yeah.
So we have to adjust how we calculate sleep.
If you do plan on getting a wearable, if you're watching this, you don't have a wearable, the Apple Watch is a great device. It's not the best device for the wellness kind of community, right? For those metrics?
Well, for wellness and activities, yes. But for sleeping, it's not ideal because it's a pain to charge.
Sleeping, HRV, RHR even, it's not the best. Like you don't get your stress meter. So I would go Oura or Whoop. If you're like a super adventurer, like
Garmin
adventure person, go with a Garmin.
Garmin's just as good.
Yeah, Garmin's great.
But it's bulky.
Yeah, Garmin's very bulky.
Whoop is the easiest one to charge.
Yeah, and the best thing is like sometimes I don't take my watch off or my device off for a long time because you charge the charger and then you just clip the charger on and you go about your day.
Yeah.
Lando Norris was doing a video and he had his charger on.
Yeah, there we go. He had to get it in. So yeah, with the vibe score, we're just gonna it's just gonna make it more fair for people who are using it properly. So it's gonna be more representative of how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people are like always in the 60s, but I can see why they're in the 60s and it's not particularly fair based on their device or their averages. So
yeah, and we're still new at this, so we're constantly tweaking. I mean, even the big boys are always tweaking their algorithms, their sleep algorithms. So it's always changing and improving. The more data we get, the more we can make it better for everybody.
Yeah. Oh, and I think the Whoop update, the Whoop sleep algorithm update has helped me a little bit to help me with my 20-day streak.
Hey, it is what it is. That's a Whoop thing. So
it's a Whoop thing, but it's actually going to hurt me in the longer run.
Well, you're lifting your averages really high. So, sorry, your baseline is higher now. So
yeah,
the better you do, the harder it is to get those good scores.
Exactly.
Whereas like my baseline has been so bad for a few months that my average went from an 85 to a 79 or something, or an 80.
Okay.
So now it's going to be much easier for me
to get purples.
As it was than it was before.
And just to summarize the vibe score, it's going to be more representative of your vibe.
Yeah.
And that's the goal.
Yeah, because that's another thing I try to do is I try to ask people, do you feel kind of like your vibe score or do you not feel? And I'd say most of the people, it's pretty accurate. Like they're like, yep, I pretty much feel like this. But some people, it's not even close.
Yeah.
So we're trying to balance that. Yeah, so it's cool.
So it's ever evolving, but this new version is going to be really great.
Yeah.
I love the direction that it's going, and it should make users more excited to see their vibe in the morning.
Totally.
And streaks.
Yeah. We did speak about streaks before, but yeah, we added the streaks. So if you have a purple day, which means you're above your average, if you get one purple day, no streak. But if you get two, you have a 2-day streak. If you're on 3, you have a 3-day streak.
And it shows in the leaderboard.
And it shows in the leaderboard who's on a streak, who's not. And you're on a 20-day streak, you're killing it right now. But what we noticed, as soon as we introduced the little streak thing on the leaderboard, it made people want to get a little more competitive, and it like not only with themselves but with others, like who's trying to get a better streak. And it kind of gamifies it a little bit, and to gamify your health in an easy, fun way is actually such a cool way to feel better as much as you
And
can.
improve your life.
Yeah, so the streaks have been really, really cool. So we want to keep adding a few more little fun features like that keep people excited, keep people wanting to feel good.
An all-time best, like let's say you hit your all-time best resting heart rate or REM or whatever, it'll have like a trophy.
Yeah, we always want to encourage our users for doing well.
Yeah, and that's very good that you speak about that. Encouragement and positive reinforcement is what we're after here. Because some people who are afraid to show their scores, not because they have bad scores, they don't even know what their scores are. They're just afraid that they'll be judged on their bad days.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing is that on your bad days, no one's really saying anything. And on the good days, you're getting an influx of positive like engagement and reinforcement that is positively programming the user to show up, to do their thing, and give them a reason to win the night.
Exactly.
So that they can get some good feedback from the community.
And what I did notice is that when users have a bad vibe score, they're in the orange, they often will go onto the feed and post why they have such a bad score, because a lot of them kind of feel ashamed that when you're doing good all the time, then you get a really terrible score. Before anyone comments or asks if you're okay or whatever, they're already gonna like write it. Like Zalata wrote it today. She's like, my scores the last 2 days have been terrible, but I'm trying to phase out my breastfeeding with my young boy, and he's not pumped about it, you know? So that's a whole chemical
that's
distribution of everything.
And that's very valid.
And it's valid. So she put that in the feed. It's like, yeah, like don't feel bad for me. Like this is just what's going on right now. So she's like, my scores for the next 1 week to 1 month are going to be really volatile.
Yeah, it's motherhood.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, because we were talking about points, because when we rank people right now, it doesn't count the days you missed. So we're just like, add up all the points so that we can see who's truly number one, number two, number three. But like, let's say in Zalata's case, she did nothing wrong. She's doing her best. She's going to sleep early. It's just, she's doing like women have like hormonal things that happen.
Yeah, it's a whole
tank their scores. Like, should her points be, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. So when we do, soon we're going to introduce a point system where you can also rack up points aside from your vibe score. Your vibe score contributes to your points, but like you said, a lot of women, when they're on their period or maybe even before that,
so many phases,
all the different phases, all the women, their vibe scores will go down X amount of percent or whatever, and that's totally normal for women. So how can we compensate them for still showing up and doing the good work? So adding a point system.
Like if they went to bed at the right time and they did the nice routine and everything, but their hormones are off and their HRV tanks.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. So I know you said, we were talking about, oh, should their vibe score be pumped in that time? And I was like, no, because it represents how they feel.
Exactly.
But the points should reflect the effort.
Yeah, totally. So we are in the middle of trying to create that points system to be able to do that. And then hopefully as the company grows and the brand grows and everything, those points in a perfect world, the more points you rack up, you can use those points to go towards maybe some of your favorite wellness products that we can partner up with.
Yeah, like 8 Sleep mattresses.
Or a new device, or Whole Foods or Sprouts or something like that.
The goal, man. That's
or like you like Lululemon or Alo Yoga. Like the more points you rack up, the better discounts you can get at your favorite places.
That's exactly.
So it's not happening now, but once we start racking up points and the more users we get, then we'll be able to actually do that stuff. And this actually leads me to our last point, which was, when is Pear actually going to launch and get out of beta testing mode? So I'm assuming I'd like it to be June 1st. You'd like it to be May 8th, whatever it is. There's no tentative date, but it's somewhere early summer.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the early summer. We still have a lot of bugs to fix. We still have a couple new features to add. We don't want to add too much because we don't want this app to be super complicated and super technical where a new user comes in and it's too overwhelming. So we want to release with the limited features that we do have right now, but make sure they're working perfectly. Make sure everything is great.
Privacy settings,
The privacy settings, the public profiles, private profiles, all that stuff.
invites, tribe creation.
So all that stuff is coming. And yeah, so I can't wait to get on the App Store, because then we can actually start marketing this, right?
Yeah.
Because it's hard to market, to get people onto beta, download the Test Flight app, and it's
too many
barrier to
layers.
entry is terrible.
Invites are brutal.
Exactly. So that's just beta testing stuff. But the amount of learning we're getting in this beta testing, especially in the last 2-3 weeks where we brought on more users, has been really good.
Yeah, and the idea of going from like 20 to 50, then 50 to 100, then 100 to 500, like
Mhm.
that's what we're trying to do here, and we're learning a lot in these small batches.
Yeah.
And the foundation, like the people who are in now are great people.
Yeah. So that's what we're really focused on,
So
is
that's
building
like-
a good foundation and a good community, so that anytime we do bring in new people, the current community is there to talk to them, to guide them through what's going on, and the whole thing. So that's super cool. Any new features on Pair that you're excited about that we don't have yet?
New features. Well, there's going to be a lot more informative stuff. So a lot of icons that are going to come up.
Yeah, we noticed a lot of people, specifically the Apple people, who don't have a lot of these metrics for their device. They were like, okay, this is all really cool and I love this, but like, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? So now when you get your Vibe score, if you click on your Vibe score, it'll tell you what is the Vibe score comprised of. Comprised of. What is this? What is the heart score? What is the stress meter? Which we're taking away the stress meter soon, and we'll talk about that on the next pod. And then, yeah, so just making it a lot easier for new people to come in to understand exactly what they're looking at.
Exactly.
So-
That's the key. So a lot of that kind of stuff, we're going to start displaying days tracked,
Yep.
because that's a really important metric for users, and we want to take some things from other apps like Duolingo, for example.
Mhm.
You get, if you charge your device, you did the effort, you should see your streak of like how many days you logged in a row.
Yeah, exactly.
And having that visibility and having others see that on you perhaps will inspire people to track more, because
Mhm.
like we said, is it healthy for the user and is it fun? Streaks are fun. And is it healthy for the user to be aware of their stuff and to be accountable? I think so, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it falls in line. And I think it'll just be another thing that, especially like the Hudson guys, like Scotty, and
Dom,
and Kev and Tim, they chirp each other a lot. And so we like to give them chirp fuel.
Yeah, of course.
If like I'm sure Tim's going to get chirped because he hasn't been tracking that much.
Yeah. I'm excited to add, which is not a big feature, but I want to see the steps. Like the steps or calories burnt progress.
Something like
whichever way we display that, I'd be excited. I'm excited to see that, because we want to be able to set, like, you'll be able to set your own step goal. And if you're hitting your goal, you're getting points, right?
Yeah.
And also it's motivating. If I see that you're hitting your goals every day, like, I should be hitting mine. So it kind of just makes you want to keep being better,
Yeah.
because we're competitive. Just
No,
by
totally.
nature.
And like, who's losing by getting more steps?
Nobody.
Nobody
There's absolutely no, unless you're doing 50,000 steps a day every day and you're crushing your knees.
Yeah. Then you need to go down.
I wonder how many steps Ollie gets, because he's a runner.
Oh yeah.
You know?
He must be getting into like the 30, 40,000s minimum.
Yeah, I don't know. So it'll be fun to see
Because
that.
Eula gets 20,000, 25,000 a day.
And she's not a runner.
No, but she doesn't stop.
Yeah, she like wakes up like an
like a
Energizer bunny at
squirrel.
4 a.m. and then she doesn't stop until 9 p.m.
Yeah, it's
And
very
she sa-
funny.
And then she says, I need my sleep consistency to be better. I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to bed.
In bed, if I go on her side a little, I go, I want to do a little cuddle sesh or something. She's like, back off, brother.
Get out.
Don't.
My sleep
she's
is more important than this.
She's like, you want to always ruin my stats.
Yeah, you are. You're definitely out there to ruin people's stats.
That's what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
I've created a monster.
Yeah,
By the
yeah.
way, next week you should be receiving your 8 sleep.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh.
Brother bought me a gift, an 8 sleep. He's like, let's see if your scores get better. So thank you for that.
Oh, no problem, man. It's my pleasure.
That's cool. Yeah,
Should have done it earlier.
8 sleep's gonna be a good time. Yeah,
So launch for the app.
I don't sleep the best. I've been sleeping better. my thing is I love a cozy, soft mattress. Like I like to get in there and I like the bed to go like this. And I just like to do that. So that's why I haven't bought an 8 Sleep. I just don't want to lose the coziness that I have. So he just said, too bad.
Well, it's a cover. It's not a mattress.
No, I know, but the cover's still thick. So anyway, I
It's
saw on
real.
Reddit, someone said that even with the cover, it was too soft for his liking. So that was good for me.
Okay, great. Yeah, because it doesn't change the mattress. It doesn't change the integrity of the mattress.
No, I know.
So you'll be okay.
Yeah, I'm excited to try that out.
Lando's gonna like it because now you can set up Lando's side of the bed.
Yeah, because me and Lando are on two sides.
You
Yeah,
can
like
call it Lando, and you can put it hot for him if he wants it.
no, he wants it cold.
Oh, okay.
When the room is too hot, like if I have my ceiling fan on every night, if the ceiling fan is not on, he goes and lies down on the wood floor. If the
knows.
ceiling fan is on, he's on the bed.
They're really smart.
Last night he slept on my neck the whole night. Maybe that's why I had my best vibe score in a long time. He literally, like, his head was right here on my pillow and on my neck the entire night. Not half the night, like 10 o'clock until when I woke up. His little nose was breathing on me.
He's a high vibe device.
He is a high vibe device.
Oh, what a guy! We babysat him the other day.
How was that?
It was really nice.
He wasn't a bad boy?
No, he's a perfect gentleman.
He's only crazy when he's around a lot of people. Like when we go to mom's all together.
Yeah,
He's
like,
overwhelmed because
laughing.
those are all his favorite people. He doesn't know what to do. He wants treats. He wants to like all the attention. But when you're just like one-on-one with him at the house, he's super chill.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah. Although I love when mom babysits him and he is in a mood. It's hilarious because my mom will like, she's like, oh, geez, this guy was crazy for 5 hours, which is great for me because sometimes I'll go golfing and I'll drop him off at my mom's because she doesn't live far from me. And when he has a crazy day at mom's house, or grandma's, as I like to say it, that means when I pick him up and I'm done golf, he's dead. So I get to relax. And I don't have to take him for a walk and I don't have to entertain him or do any of that stuff. But
yeah, we took him on a little walk like this.
yeah. So anyway, this was just a nice little quick pod to mostly talk about Pear, what's going on in Pear, talk about the show, and just to get back into the groove of doing the podcast. So we're most likely going to see you next week for episode 13.
Oh yeah, lucky 13.
Lucky 13. It's Friday today, so that's awesome. I hope everyone has a great weekend. No, this is probably going to premiere on Monday, right?
Yeah.
This is going to premiere on Monday, so I hope everyone here has an amazing week. And thanks for joining us. We're very excited to be prepping Pear for its imminent launch. It's going to be super cool. And just keep vibing.
Love it. Love it. Great to see you guys. Great to see you, brother.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Take it easy. Ciao.
Take care.